Welcome to OBS Training. First off, thank you so much for joining our live stream team and being willing to learn the OBS system that we use for our live streaming to make everything kind of seamless and look professional. This tutorial is here to kind of walk you through everything that you see on the screen. Hopefully you have already done some shadowing, so you've seen this a little bit, might be familiar with it. If not, that's okay. We will get you set up for that as soon as possible. The plan is you do some shadowing, you watch this video, you get to start running the live stream with someone shadowing you and watching and helping and guiding you through it, and then we'll eventually put you on. Also, our hope is to grow our team enough that you will only have to run the live stream once a month, maybe even less, depending on how many people we get. And then maybe also have you on camera a couple of times. I think if you know how to do both of them, it will really help even more with the seamless movements that we have to do in the coordination that is required for running cameras and running OBS. All right, let's get into it. So as you can see on this screen, you have all of your what's called studio mode of OBS. So when you show up on Sunday mornings, this will already be open, ready to go for you, and hopefully you get there early enough that you can run through some service practice and rehearsal time so you can rehearse yourself. I'm going to just first kind of glaze through everything and then we'll get into detail. So first off, you will see in the upper corner you have scenes up top and you have sources. That's where you're going to be hanging out a lot, jumping between your different scenes and then with your different sources and turning on and off all of your different sources. Down here you have in the middle preview, which is what you see first, and you get to set everything up. And then once you have it set to the way you want, you push to what's called program, and that is what is seen on the actual YouTube. So it's nice that you can set everything before you push it live in case something is weird and you gotta fix it. In the middle, you have your transitions. Fade is always your best transition because it's kind of just nice and smooth. We might add some more transitions as we get going, but fade for now is the big one that you want to use. And so it pushes that over. Okay, down here you have audio, you have more scene transition, which you don't have to worry about, and controls. Audio you don't have to worry too much about, other than you might have to keep an eye on the movement, because as people are talking and music is going, you'll see the bar moving up and down. If it ever gets into the red, just let your sound guy know who's running the live stream sound and they can adjust accordingly. Also, you want to make sure that pretty much all of these are muted except for your soundboard. Okay, so that's really all you need there. This should be pretty much set up for you, so the muting you shouldn't have to worry about, but it's always good to double check and know about. All right, so like I said, we're gonna hang out up in the scenes and sources. Oh, sorry, back to controls. Over on controls, you have start streaming, start recording, studio mode, settings, and exit. Start streaming is what you will need to click when we are ready to go live. You will click start streaming. Then you will also have to go over to the YouTube studio, which will be set up for you, ready to go, and you will have to click go live. So this is the YouTube studio. So like I said, when you go in, you need to, in OBS, hit the start streaming, and then you will come up to this upper right corner, and hit go live. The stream, once you hit start streaming in OBS, will pop up here, so you should hopefully see something. I would not click go live until you see it pop up in here, just to make sure everything is connected. If it's not, that's when you might want to double check your stream key and see if that is matching with the stream key that is loaded into OBS setting under streaming. Then at the end of a service, you hit end stream or end the live on YouTube, and then go over to OBS and end the streaming on OBS. Okay, I'll repeat that again later, but that's really the only controls you need. We might record, but probably not. Studio mode is what we're currently in. And then you again have settings, which you shouldn't have to worry about too much. In scenes, you'll notice that in the scenes you have everything set up and it is in the order as easy as possible of our service. So you have pre-service, then, which also includes call to worship. You then have all of your worship cameras that you get to have fun going back and forth between during singing. You have your overlay and sermon, so that's for your announcements, that's for the sermon, that's for prayer time, and that is for the closing comments, trivia, and discussion question. So anything else you would need. Then you have your PowerPoint, that's for the sermon. You have a whoops image, which hopefully you will never have to use, but it's there. And then you can ignore those last two because they won't normally be there. All right. Now, scenes are like folders, and within each folder you have a whole bunch of sources. So when I click on pre-service, I come over to my sources, and that's where I'm going to have all of those fun overlays that you always see popping up. In order to get those to show up, you have eyeballs. And so the idea is to click off the eyeball. If there's a line through it, it is turned off. If there is no line through it, it is turned on. So currently, as you can see, we have the Pastor Glenn banner is turned on, and then you have your left camera in your background. Everything is layered in your sources, so whatever is up top is what is going to show up first. Anything underneath will not be shown if something's covering it. So if our camera was turned on for this, you would not be able to see the background. You would just see the left camera, which should hopefully be zoomed in on our host and then on Pastor Glenn during the call to worship. Leave that on. Don't turn it off. You don't need to. All right. So since Pastor Glenn is on, I don't want that because it's the beginning of service, so I'm going to turn that off, and then I'm going to click on the eyeball for Welcome to Village, and it will pop up. Please note, you need to always turn off an eyeball before you turn on and push things out, because if I accidentally hit, say, subscribe, notice now it is overlaid both of them. Nice thing is, again, it's in preview, so people on YouTube don't see it until you transition. So I can fix that problem, and I can head over and transition to what I need to. Now, if you're in two different scenes for program and preview, it will, as you see, flop. It will flip the two. So in scenes, it has moved me all the way down to training. I need to scroll back up and go to my pre-service. So just be aware it does that. I don't know why. So then I can just keep going through all of these. Always, always transition, because if you don't, then no one's gonna see it. Okay, and you just keep going through clicking and unclicking. Now, when the person is done talking, whoever our host is for that morning, we then go to our countdown. Our countdown is this full screen. It's just called full screen because it is the full screen of our Pro Presenter. When Pro Presenter is connected, you will see it here when your eyeball is turned on, of course. So I would turn my eyeball on, make sure that I have what I need right there, and as soon as they're done talking, I'm going to fade over and hopefully do it fast enough and coordinate with Pro Presenter so it will start playing the countdown right away on that side. So there you have that. Then the countdown is going, and as that's going, I can prep for call to worship by turning off my full screen, turning on call to worship, the camera's there, and then when the countdown is done, I can fade over. Just like that. That is how all of the overlays work for everything that you've got going on. Then, when worship starts, you are going to flop between your different worships. The left camera is the one that currently zooms in and out all the time for our solos, for whenever Carrie Ann is talking, or when announcements are going, all of that. Until we get two camera operators, that's the only one that zooms in and out, and the other one just stays stagnant and has that wide view from the side, and that is your right camera. This is where you can have fun. All of your cameras have lower thirds overlay, so those are the lyrics. Always make sure that's turned on. It does have the full screen if for whatever reason you want to go to the full screen of just lyrics. Not sure if you would want to, but who knows, you might. So you can always turn that on and it will get rid of the camera because it lays on top. So it will lay over your lower thirds in your camera, so you don't have to worry about turning those off. Whatever's on top will be on top. Then when it's time for your announcements, oh, see, discussion questions are turned on. We don't want that. So I'm going to turn my discussion questions off, turn on my announcement banner. Notice again, the left camera is on. Maybe you'd want the right camera for some reason, but you don't need it. You should just need the left camera if your camera person is transitioning early enough. You want to avoid using the left camera while the camera person is zooming in and out, especially if they're still learning, because if it's too fast, it can make people a little motion sick. So be aware of that. So then I get my announcements ready and then I can fade over. And again, because it does the weird swap, I have to make sure I stay in my announcements. And then I would go through all of these, right? And then it'll jump either into a song or it will jump into prayer time. It just depends on that day's service. Okay, so you're doing all of that. Then when it's time for the sermon to start, in your sermon section, again, you've got your left and your right camera. You're going to mostly stay on your left because that'll be the one that's zoomed in on Glenn and is moving with and following with him. So you'll have that. And then you have your PowerPoint. This one here in your scenes is a full screen PowerPoint. Can't see it because it's not connected, but it's the full screen. That's why it's black. So sometimes you might want to fade over to your full screen, and that's fine. But say you want to keep Glenn there and still show his PowerPoint. Well, that's in the sermons. You have his camera, and then you have the PowerPoint. And if I were to turn that on, and if I were to click on it, you'll notice a little red box pops up around it. The PowerPoint would show up right there. And you can actually move this around, and you can change the size of it. So that's what's really nice. You can adjust it and get it prepped how you want, and then you can fade over, and the red box will disappear, but your PowerPoint will still be there, and then you'll have the camera as well. So you'll have Glenn and you'll have the PowerPoint if you wanted to have both at the same time. So that's kind of nice about that. When the sermon is over, right, and we're getting ready for our closing song, you'll want to probably switch over to a wide, like the right screen, so that the left camera, or the right camera, sorry, so that the left camera can go ahead and zoom in on on Glenn for prayer, or zoom up onto whoever needs to sing, or whatever the case might be. Again, there's a lot of coordination between the two. But you'll do that, and then you'll have your last song, and then you'll go back to overlays and sermons, because you will then do all of your thanks for worshiping, your trivia email, the have a great week, and then go to the full screen for your trivia answers, and then turn on your discussion question, which is that right there, by using your eyeball, right? Always turn your eyeballs on, eyeball, preview it, transition. So there you have it. That is how you walk through a service. One of the great things is when you come in on a Sunday, you will get one of these, and it has the entire service outlined for you. It has the categories. So you have camera, that's for the camera person. This currently says overlay and views. My plan is to possibly change those to probably transition in OBS, but it will walk you through everything you need, walk you through what you need to click on and off. If there's ever anything special for the week, we'll let you know. But that's how you run OBS. If you ever have questions, you can always ask me, you can always email me, things like that. Again, when you go to do this in the mornings, right, you'll always want to start your stream, then go to YouTube, take a look at that live view, click the go live, and then wait about 10 minutes or so after service with the discussion question up so people can comment and share and talk. And then when that's done, you will end the stream on YouTube, and then you will end the stream in OBS down on your control section down in the bottom side. A little advanced stuff if you ever need to. In settings, this is really one of the only things on the stream, you want to make sure that your stream key here always matches with your YouTube stream key. It does have to change every week. I do switch it, but sometimes I put the wrong stream key in, like our first time that we did this. So just double check that your stream keys always match. If they don't, you'll go into YouTube. As you can see in the bottom portion of the studio, there is a stream key. You will just copy that to your clipboard, paste it into OBS, and then click apply and OK. That's all you should really need in your settings, unless we're troubleshooting and we ask you to go in there. The other thing too, if you ever need to add a source, that sharp plus button, and you have all these different sources. The biggest things we use is the video capture device, the NDI source, which is for ProPresenter, or for a couple of special cameras. Images, those are our pictures and overlays and everything. And then yep, that was it. And possibly audio, but generally not, because again, everything is through the soundboard, so you shouldn't have to worry about adding extra special audio. Another cool thing you could add if you ever needed to was a text, to create your own text overlay in case maybe I forgot to make an overlay and you want to add something. So you'll want to create new. It will save everything. So whatever was previously created, you go to add existing and you can click on what's there. You can name this whatever you want. I'm just going to leave it that. And then I can type things in like maybe, oh, it didn't work. Maybe my email address, right? And click OK, and you can get fancy with it, but you don't have to. Oops. Always make sure you have the red around the correct thing. And then I can change this, right? So it's smaller, it can be seen once I got it set up the way I like it. Fade over. And now you've got something extra there. So you can always add extra text if you absolutely need to for whatever reason. The other thing you might have to do sometimes is if we need to add another video capture or something, but most everything is already there, so you would just click Add Existing. You would pick whatever it is and you click OK, and it will automatically load in one of these things that have already been saved. Those are your two advanced things. Also on a Sunday, you will have another screen with this multi-view camera screen, and that is going to show you all of your cameras that you have going on. It'll show you your preview in your program, and then it'll have all the other scenes set up, which is nice for you to be able to follow ProPresenter, or not ProPresenter, the PowerPoint, so that you can follow the sermon PowerPoint and know when you need to click on it to bring it over to full screen for the streaming, and also to take a look at your left camera, because everything's labeled, and your left camera will show, excuse me, your left camera will show if your camera person is zooming in or out, so you don't click on that, because again, we want to avoid clicking that when they're zooming in and out. So you'll have that. It's a little intimidating, I know, but it's nice to have, because once you were like, oh, I need to click on PowerPoint, I can click it, it automatically goes to my preview, and then I will transition into it. There you have it. Again, we will get you set up with some shadowing, with some training and practice and all of that, so that you can learn how to use this and feel comfortable with it before you are by yourself. Thanks again for doing this. I really appreciate your service. Yeah, I hope you have fun with it.